They line the walls of the corridors, yet students hardly notice them. But when one of these taken-for-granted notice boards is installed with interactive learning models, things change. Students are drawn to it and learning takes place. To deliver learning to the learners in their spare time is the main aim of the Interactive Learning Corridor project. To do so, sensors were installed to transform the notice board glass panel into a huge interactive screen.
To have the learning models in the corridor, we allow students to have access to them all the time. Unlike the lab models in the labs, once the labs are closed, students have no access to them. We have also made use of existing fixtures, the notice boards, to mount the models. We have also built consoles which are against the wall, so very little space is required. Through the Interactive Learning Corridor, we have harvested students' idle time to engage them in active learning. We have also found that the models are hit among secondary school students who are here for their outreach workshops.
Currently, the learning models in the Interactive Learning Corridor are designed to allow students to have a better grasp of some of the engineering concepts learnt in Year 1.
This Quizmaster helps me to revise for my test and exam because it has sets of questions to help me understand the subject.
It helps me to revise my basics on my digital fundamentals. I can use it anytime I want, and for example, I can use it before my class or even before my exams.
It's a familiar yet frustrating experience for students. They need particular applications to complete their assignments, but the computer labs are either inaccessible or fully occupied. Teaching staff too face similar challenges as it takes time to install every computer in the lab with the relevant applications for teaching. To solve these problems, IIT School introduced the Virtual Desktop Infrastructure, or VDI, to enable students and staff to access learning resources whenever and wherever they want to, using any device.
In the past, where we prepare for the lab for the semester, it takes 3 weeks for the technical support to do that. Whereas with VDI, they can do it within 3 days. So such is the productivity gain and efficiency gain. Whereas for students, it is an industry practice that accessing the applications through virtual desktop is very common. So by having this environment in our school, the students are ready for the industry. And on top of that, the students are able to be responsible for their own learning. It is because the access of the lab software is readily available for them. So anytime they feel like learning, they can actually go on and access the software to start where they end when the lessons is over.
With the VDI in place, users don't have to install any software on their devices. All they need to do is log on to VDI and they'll be able to virtualize more than 100 applications to teach or learn.
VDI brings convenience to my teaching in the school. Previously, before the beginning of a new semester, I needed to go to all the labs that my student will be using to verify the software installed are correct. But now I do not need to do that anymore. So I can check the software over my cubicle using my desktop. Another aspect I would say is when I administer the assessment, for example, the lab test. Previously, if I have 5 classes of the students, I need to set 5 different set of papers because I need to administer the test at different slot due to the lab availability. But now I can set 1 set of paper, I can arrange a common time slot to administer the test concurrently because my students, they have their own device, so they can access to the software using their own device.
VDI gives me flexibility. I can access my notes and software through my portable devices like the tablets, phone or my laptop. So this means that I don't have to access and book another lab to continue with my work.
In the past, students have to come down to TP just to book a lab and to practice for their test. However, now with the VDI, I can just stay at home, log into NetBeans, and then I can practice for my test already. So I find this very convenient and helpful.
More hands-on exposure and knowledge applications in real-life setting. That is the main aim of the curriculum redesign that integrates the teaching, learning and assessing of 2 core subjects in the Veterinary Technology Diploma. The 2 subjects concerned are Surgical and Anesthetic Principles and Veterinary Practice Management. While lectures are mostly delivered separately, the 8 practical lessons are integrated and conducted at the TP Animal Clinic in accordance with veterinary clinical practices. Students are prepared for multiple clinical tasks and responsibilities that range from animal patient admission, assisting in veterinary surgery, and post-surgical care.
Basically, with the integration of 2 subjects and the animal clinic, it enhances students' learning. Why? Because working alongside with a licensed veterinarian and technologist, it improved or enhanced students' knowledge and skills in taking history of the patient during admission. It's also learned how to handle and restrain live animals, and also taking the vital signs during the surgery and post-surgery period. Most importantly, they learned how to interact and communicate with our paying clients. And secondly, since there are more practice for them in the clinic, they are now prepared for the industries such as clinic, hospital, and animal holding unit. And in fact, most of the companies commented that our students are very hardworking, teamwork oriented, and they possess good attitude in work ethics.
Currently, the clinic performs animal sterilizations and operates 2 days per week, allowing students to experience multitasking that is expected of a veterinary technologist.
Well, on top of the lectures and the practicals that we have, to have actual clients come in with their pets helps me to apply what I've learned from surgical anesthesia and vet practice management on a real-life client and a real-life patient during surgery. So it makes for my learning experience a lot more enriching.
It gives us a very practical overview of what happens in a clinic from the start to the end, and it actually helps us for our internship as well as prepares us to enter the industry.